I remember when I worked for a pest control company in Australia. The company was in the outback and privately owned, so funds were a bit shorter than I was comfortable with. We were the type of company to use plastic bags you would get at a grocery store to catch copperheads. And let's just say 90% of the time, one of us got bit. I mean, there were no qualifications for the job, no prior experience or anything. I waited tables at a Chesney's, and some cat in a jumpsuit asked if I wanted to catch bugs, and the next day, I was jumping on kangaroos. This one day in particular, though, made me rethink my entire pest control career. We got a call in about a tarantula nest removal, and yes, there is such a thing as a tarantula nest. The shit is like a wasp nest, except for it has, well, tarantulas. Anyways, at the time, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this discovery of the tarantula nest. And then my boss tells me the removal was going to be led by me. Now, this was one of those type of bosses who were very hands-on and thought he was the only one who could do things right. So him asking me to lead was basically him being a chump. We get to our shed and start getting all of the things we need for the job. And then he starts telling me the details about where the nest is located. And the more he's talking, the more impossible this job starts to sound. I mean, he's telling me about the nest being 50 feet in the air and how we only have 4 10-feet ladders in a bar stool. And his bright idea was to duct tape the ladders together, balance the bar stool on the top, and then have me balance on the bar stool while standing on my tippy toes. At first, I thought this cat was joking because, I mean, this is some Looney Tunes Three Stooges type situation. But then he started pulling out ladders and asking for my help and shit. So I looked at this guy and just straight up said, hell no. Then he started throwing contracts in my face and saying shit like, I've seen how much you get paid. Good luck finding a lawyer. Which shut me down and beat me into submission. Now, I could handle the Mission Impossible nest removal and the contemptuous blackmailing. But the real kicker was when he told me who my partner was. Take Bush with you. He needs more experience. Bush is the worst motherfucker you could ask to do, well, anything. He's the type of guy to take a shit and come out with poop on his shirt tail. He never fails to make the situation worse, and having him on this job with me just added to the trepidation. So we're driving to the client, and 10 minutes in, I was already done with his bullshit. He constantly claimed he knew a shortcut to the house, and I knew that was BS because he had never even been to this remote of an area before. And how do I know that? Because Bush was recruited a month earlier while the boss was on a business trip in Flint, Michigan. Would you like a career in the pest control field? Yeah, that sounds... Where is it? The Australian outback. Damn, we better get free steaks. Not only that, this dude finished his drink before we even left for the job. He spent the first 3 minutes of the ride slurping on an empty fucking cup. I stopped that shit real fast. We finally make it to the house, and I'm starting to question why we're even there in the first place. This guy says, let me show you where the nest is. And then proceeds to drive us 2 miles down the road in his dune buggy. This motherfucker pulls up to the side of a cliff, pointed up, and says, there it is right there. I looked at this cat with so much hate. And then of course Bush starts to talk, and I instantly shut it down. Hey, do you think... No, stay in the car. I had to eliminate the most dangerous factor of the situation before it could become a problem. So I get the ladders taped up and start climbing. I finally make it to the top. The Mission Impossible starts. I grab the broom and start swiping at this nest. And I'm knocking all of them bitches out. I don't know if any one of y'all has been 50 feet in the air before, but there's a lot more wind up there than it is down here. So as I'm knocking the spiders down, them shits are flying back up, and they were hella pissed. I was like doing this windmill motion to keep these cats at bay, but they started to overwhelm me. Then I lost my balance and slipped. Luckily, on the way down, I hit an eagle that so happened to be flying by, and it softened my fall a bit. I ended up having to stop by the emergency room on the way back to work. And then I noticed that the company truck needed to be refilled, so I stopped by the gas station and told Bush to fill up while I go get something to drink with my painkillers. I'm in the gas station with my drink, and Bush comes in and says something troubling. "Yo, Josh! I left the keys in the ignition while filling up, and there's this weird clicking noise coming from the engine." No! I cannot make up this level of stupidity.